Some brawlers really suck. I think we all have that one brawler we just really avoid using. Like for me, it's Pam or Hank. I'd rather step on a Lego barefooted before I use those brawlers. I'm not even joking. They're terrible.
Trash.
For the first brawler, we have Rosa. Now believe it or not, she actually used to be really strong upon release. Like S tier type of strong. But then, Supercell decided to just nerf her into the ground, which was totally understandable because Rosa was literally unkillable.
Huh?
But let me explain why she was unkillable. You see, when Rosa was first released, the first thing we all noticed was she was really similar to El Primo. Like both of their attack patterns was pretty much the same, except their super. Instead of catching the meanest flying elbow to the chest, you had to deal with someone going Super Saiyan 3. Like I can't make this up. She was literally unkillable. Her super gave her a 80% shield buff, and if you pair that up with a maxed out Rosa, which was around 7k HP, only God was able to save you if she was chasing you. She had nearly 35,000 HP in total. That is equivalent of 5 Rosas coming at you at the same exact time. Do you think you can beat 5 Rosas by yourself? I'll answer that for you. Of course not! You see why she was nerfed? It was definitely needed. But I think we can all agree that Supercell nerfed her a little too much. Like her super used to last 6 seconds, and it would only take 3 hits to cycle her super again. And it got nerfed to Rosa needing to use 4 ammo to get her super. Just as we thought that was bad, her super got nerfed to only lasting 4 seconds. Immediately getting nerfed again to lasting only 3 seconds. And it was just all downhill for Rosa after that. Even her damage output got weaker, her star power plant life got nerfed as well, the list goes on. It's actually crazy because I remember being so excited to buy Rosa. I was literally in class when she got released, and she was so cheap at the time. I think she was like 19 gems. That's literally $2 for a brawler.
Damn.
The good old days. Next up, we have Bull. Yeah, my boy. You thought you were safe? The haircut ain't safe too. My boy really put off the man bun with this fit. Oh my god,
Damn.
look! You know, Bull is one of those brawlers that's extremely situational in my opinion. Like he's mainly picked in Brawl Ball or any bushy or close quarter maps. That allows him to get close to you without taking much damage. Because we all know, Bull is a menace in close range fights. Like that dude's shotgun is actually crazy. Now beside his overpowered shotgun, the rest of his entire kit is kinda trash. Like for example, his super's a little too easy to counter or even dodge. Like I'm not even joking, I can probably dodge a super with my eyes closed. Because, come on, you telling me this not easy to dodge? None, of course, you can utilize his super in different ways, such as closing the gap on enemies if you want to finish off a kill. Or maybe just running through a wall because you're too lazy to walk around it. Yeah, I've done that before. Now this gadget stomper does make his super a little more useful since you can interrupt your own super and stun any opponent near you. Or it just comes in handy if you like completely miss your charge, which is going to happen a lot because like what I said earlier, his super is really easy to dodge. And Bull's biggest downfall out of everything would have to be his range on his shotgun. Like let's be honest, if you're in a high elo lobby, you're most likely going to be the enemy team punching bag because I doubt you'll be able to push them. And if you try, you're going to just get lasered. Now a smarter option, if you enjoy using a shotgun and 2-tapping squishy brawlers while hiding in a bush, just use Shelly instead. It's because she have the mobility and range. It all depends on your playstyle though. And her star power band-aid allows her to play super aggressive because she instantly heals over 2000 HP when she falls below 40% health. Plus her super can easily eliminate any brawler with no problem. So give her a try again. Next up, we got Pam. And she's terrible. Like trash. I'ma try my best not to cook her. But bro, Pam just get outclassed by every support brawler.
God damn!
But I think it's safe to say she's definitely not a support brawler you would want to choose first in this current meta. Let me explain why. Now Pam does give off a good amount of heals, but unfortunately, actually giving your teammates a ton of heals effectively with Pam is easier said than done. Because the biggest thing that really holds her back from actually being an S tier support brawler is her healing mobility. Basically what I mean is she can't really give off any heals from long distance. You kinda have to stay super close to Pam if you want to get consistent heals. And even doing that can be a challenge, because the enemies can easily just destroy her turret. And this is why support brawlers like Byron, Poco, and Barry are so loved by the community, because their healing abilities are more mobile versus Pam, where her turret just sits in one spot waiting to get destroyed. For the next brawler, we have Hank. I think at this point, we can all agree that he's just a meme brawler. And people are just so obsessed with this Rodeo Hank skin. I've seen some questionable comments about that skin on Reddit. You guys scare me sometimes.
You're weird.
But besides that, Hank is honestly pretty bad. Like, there's only one exception that makes him okay to use, and that's maps with a ton of walls. Like basically majority of every Brawl Ball map. So that's maybe why you see him in all of your Brawl Ball matches. Now that's the only game mode I find Hank to be really broken in. And not only that, you're gonna be missing like 90% of your shots, unless your enemy team all have brains the size of a Skittle.
Damn.
That's a small brain. Now for his super, I think we all know, it's just so terrible and so unsatisfying to use. The only good thing he got going on for himself is his hypercharge. Well, at first he did. Ain't no way they nerfed his torpedo to home 50% less. 50?
Man, you stupid bitch.
Okay, I can understand 25%, but 50? Hank is forever cooked. And for those who don't know what homing mean, it basically just means his fish torpedo can now track down enemy brawlers, whether they're moving or standing still. Which I feel like they should have made that his regular super, and his hypercharge could have been like one gigantic fish being launched out, sorta similar to a tank. Also, it'll be pretty dope if it can break through walls, sorta similar to how Brock rocket fuel gadget work. I know, I'm cooking. Comment down below if that was a good idea. Next up, we got Mr. P. Not only is he a terrible brawler, he's a terrible person. He out here overworking my boy Gale. He just won't give him a vacation. And not only that, he's not even a real penguin. Look! We can see the zipper! Somebody need to expose him already. You see, Mr. P is one of those brawlers that's really good at annoying players, especially at making everyone waste ammo, because his porters just won't stop following you. I seriously hate those porters. Now, I honestly think Mr. P is in an awkward spot in this current meta. Like, he's not fully useless, but he sorta don't provide enough value for your team. Like, sure, his porters can have some type of crowd control, but let's be honest, they're not that hard to deal with. Now, let's talk about his main attack. Mr. P throws a heavy suitcase, and it has a 2-hit combo mechanic. The suitcase bounce once it reach max range, or if it hit an enemy brawler, or even a wall. The mechanic on how his main attack work kind of feel really awkward to use to me, and it can even be really hard to get a kill with him, especially if your opponent has good movement or you just suck. Kinda like me. I'm so serious. For the next brawler, we have Eve. I think it's safe to say she's kinda annoying with her super, just like Mr. P. But instead of getting attacked by little penguins, it's her own kids. Eve, you're a terrible mother. They don't deserve this. Now, Eve is a damage dealer. She have the ability to hover over water thanks to her little space pod. She also have a ton of range on her shots, being almost neck to neck with Piper and Angela. But although Eve have a ton of range, she's also another brawler that's sort of facing the same issue like Mr. P. Eve is not completely useless, but at the same time, she's not fully useful. Like, her entire kit is really dependent on her hatchlings. Although they're really good at wasting ammo, the same as Mr. P porters, but like I said before, they can easily be destroyed. And on top of that, Eve thrives more on maps with water to increase her mobility. Kinda without maps with water, well, it sort of makes her useless. Like, her whole ability to hover over water is what make her so strong and versatile. Same thing apply with other brawlers that also have similarities, like Juju, Angelo, and Shade. If there's a map with no type of water on it, well, maybe it wouldn't be the smartest idea to pick Angelo. Someone like Mandy or Belle would be a smarter pick, since Angelo can't utilize his full potential. Same rules apply to Eve and all the other brawlers I mentioned. And that's why I feel like she can be a pretty useless DPS brawler sometimes, because she's very limited to using her full potential. Next up, we have Ruffs. He's a support brawler that's really good at area denial, thanks to his gadget, Air Support. In fact, this is probably his best gadget because it can be strong on almost any game mode. And that paired up with this air superiority star power can make Ruffs pretty broken at times. Like, having a marksman on your team is when Bonnie thrives the most because he's able to break walls, giving your snipers a clear shot to take. Now Ruffs is honestly a mid-tier brawler at most, but he's quite strong when his teammates can build momentum off his tactical playstyle, which, let's be honest, that's not going to happen with randoms. So most of the time, you'll have to be making plays by yourself, and this is when Ruffs falls short. His biggest weakness is taking fights by himself due to his low burst damage. Basically what that means is a high amount of damage being dealt in a short period of time. Since he lacked that, and most of the time, your teammates will be dying a lot, you'll be struggling to make any big plays to clutch the game by yourself. And this is why Ruffs is barely picked, because let's be real, his entire kit can be useless if you don't have a team that can utilize your gadgets to the fullest. Next up, we have Sprout. He's an artillery brawler that launches these little seed bombs. Now Sprout can be really strong on certain maps and really annoying. Like sometimes, I just want to take my right hand and just... But come on, how can you hate this little guy? Look at him! He have a sticky note for a face! You see, playing Sprout, it's honestly really fun. Like, who don't enjoy trolling your own teammates with this super? Next time you load into a match, trap your teammates and emote on them. Okay, I'm just playing, don't do that. Be a positive teammate like me. Now, although Sprout is fun to use, but he's really limited to how effective he can really be. Like, playing him on a competitive level is so map dependent, because Sprout heavily rely on his super to either protect himself or block enemies from pushing you or your teammates. And what makes him even more or less valuable to use is how helpless he is in close range fights. Like other artillery brawlers such as Dynamite and Tick both have mechanics that stop people from pushing them. For example, Tick have his last hurrah gadget that gives him 50% shield for 1 second and he explode right after, dealing over 1.2k damage. And for Dynamite, we have his stun gadget, and that paired up with his Dyna Jump star power can make it pretty difficult to push him. You see what I mean? Both of these brawlers both have some sort of mechanic they can fall back on if things get bad. Well, for Sprout, that's completely different. Next, we have Bonnie. She's a marksman brawler with a ton of versatility. She rides around in her cannon car, giving her the ability to take long range fights, while also having a super that turns Bonnie into a close range assassin. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, Bonnie in this form is a whole menace, especially if you equip her crash test gadget with her black powder star power. Bonnie's gadget gives her the ability to dash forward, knocking back enemies and dealing over 1.5k damage. And her star power increases the range on her cannon when she's being launched out. Now you see how broken she is when she's not in her cannon form, but when she's in her cannon form, well, she's pretty terrible. Like, her mobility is trash. And what I mean by trash, she's horrible. And I know, some of y'all might be in the comments saying, L opinions, bro. Only thing that's a L is your hairline. Okay, I got too carried away. I'm just kidding. Now, due to how bad her mobility is, well, that also decreases her survivability against a ton of brawlers, especially agile brawlers like Mortis, Leon, and Crow. I think that's the only problem I have with Bonnie is her mobility. So overall, she's a really fun brawler to use, but a last pick for me if I plan on running a marksman brawler. Next up, we have Otis. You know, I kinda learned to respect a good Otis main, because playing a boring brawler takes a lot of willpower to not fall asleep mid-match. Because bruh, he's just not the move. But Supercell was cooking with all his skins. Just take a look at them, they're fire. If you want my bank account, Supercell, just let me know, cause it's here, take it. Otis is a controller brawler that can stand his ground pretty well in long range or close range fights, thanks to his abilities that allow him to temporarily disable enemy brawlers. Now, although Otis is really good at shutting down brawlers, but he's still being outclassed by other brawlers that can do his job a whole lot better while also being a fun brawler to play. And those brawlers are Cordelius and Gale. Cordelius have the ability to completely remove an enemy brawler and making it so much easier for your team to make a big play, while Gale have the ability to stun the entire team because his super covers so much ground. You see what I mean? There's other brawlers that can do his job, but much more effective. And that's why I think he can be quite useless at times. But obviously, Otis is still really strong if the right player picks him. Next up, we got Charlie.
Today's all burnt toast, running late and dad jokes. Has anybody seen my lecture?
No, not that Charlie. This Charlie. Now, it's kind of sad seeing how far she's fallen, because for quite a while, she was considered to be one of the most broken brawlers. But what made her the most broken was her super. Charlie was able to put enemy brawlers in a cocoon for 10 seconds. And not only that, equipping her star power digestive would make anyone she cocoon instantly lose 50% of their HP. But that got nerfed to only 25% of their HP being taken away. As well as Charlie's super getting nerfed, going from 10 seconds to 7 seconds, and it just got worse from there. Upon release, a lot of people realized Charlie close range attack speed was a little too OP. Like the speed on her attacks was on par with Edgar in close range fights. But just like everything else, that was nerfed as well. Yeah, they did Charlie pretty dirty. For the last brawler on this list, we got Doug. This dude been down bad since he been released. Now Doug is a support brawler. His main attack is identical to Jackie's, except you can heal with your main attacks. But the main problem is, since Doug attack range is so short, it can be kinda difficult to give consistent heals to your teammates. And his super is called Second Serving. It allows Doug or his teammates to respawn exactly where they died with 100% of their HP. It's honestly the most annoying super in the game, especially when your teammates kill him when they see the hot dog glowing above his head. I just be wanting to throw my phone out the window. You know, I really feel like the main issue with Doug is his entire kit, to be honest. Like, it just doesn't complement each other. Like, for example, since Doug have a short range attack, maybe giving him a mobility gadget would help him approach enemies a lot faster. You know, sorta similar to Jackie's gadget. Or even with his super. I think if they got rid of the glowing hot dog above his head, it would make it so much harder to predict him. Like, let's be honest, countering Doug is really easy. All you have to do is just have patience. And my teammates don't have that. But real talk, I think Doug just need a whole new rework. Now my final question to you, what brawler do you think is useless? Let me know, comment down below.